Hey Jake, how are you?
I'm good, Coach. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Well, I appreciate you doing this for me. Obviously, I've known you for quite a while. I think the first time I coached you, you were 13 at the time.
Yeah,
Uh,
I,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, long time, long time. You've grown into a great young man, and really happy to see what you've accomplished. And obviously, I know you're going to go on to do really good things, great things, and looking forward to seeing how that all develops for you. Okay, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So So just want to jump into this, and basically we'll start off with a little introduction. Obviously, Jake Holland, Jacob, call him Jake. He goes by either, but plays at UMass Dartmouth, playing at the Division III level, and then your major is management of information systems, technology, and management. Why don't you explain that a little bit? Tell us what that's all about.
So my major is it's a little strange. It's a business major that's science based, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of computer management, integrating computer systems, managing computer systems, management of people as well. So say like I could work in like hospitals or for a software company and help manage their computer systems. It's working with a variety of people in order to make sure that their systems basically it works for them, to make sure it works for
Yep.
them, and it
Yep.
would
Sure.
be doctors and getting their feedback on the software, and asking what improvements need to be made, and then going to a group of software engineers and making that happen for those doctors.
Okay.
So
All right. Great.
that would be
That's great. Good for you. I'm happy to hear that you're going to go on to do those type of things. Then obviously hometown from Warwick, Rhode Island, and then played at Pilgrim High School and playing positions. I remember at the surf level, you played outside back as well as center back sometimes. Where are you playing these days in college? Similar.
yeah, so I started off in center mid this year, and then I got pushed out back, so now I'm at right back. But I've been
Okay.
rotating between the two.
Well, we always tell players when they look at college, don't be one dimensional. Be versatile. It gives you more opportunities, and you look at yourself. Start in the middle of the park for at college, and now you've transitioned to play an outside position, which is great. You have that ability. Whatever keeps you on the field keeps you in the game, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously, you played for our 2003 Rhode Island Surf team with Coach Scott Cannon. So you went on to play for him for quite a few years as well. Some of the accomplishments to brag about you a little bit. Your mother was more than happy to share all these accomplishments. As a freshman, you were a state champion, senior year captain, as well as all academic senior year, and then obviously academic awards, National Honor Society, Spanish National Honor Society, and then multiple academic scholarships, which obviously speaks volumes for you and your focus on your academics as well. So that's great stuff. Just moving straight into some of the recruiting stuff we want to talk about, and we appreciate you sharing your experience. So what level in schools were you originally looking to play?
So I looked at a variety of schools. It was mainly at the time, it was mainly D3 schools because I didn't want to waste eligibility sitting. And I wanted to be able to see the field right away and really make an impact on the team. They were mostly D3 schools with a few D1s and D2 involved in there as well.
Good. What schools? Do you mind naming a few just to give us an idea?
Uh, yeah, so I was looking at Western New England, UMass Dartmouth, obviously.
Yep.
John Hales, I spoke to. From a D2 level, I was looking at New Haven, and then from a D1 level, was Central Connecticut. And those were the kind of the main five.
Yeah, and I think what you start off by saying, your thought process, look at Division III is that you want to enjoy your experience, play, know that you're going to have an opportunity to play right away. And I think when you start looking around, so sometimes those opportunities aren't always guaranteed. Not that it is guaranteed where you are right now. I know that you always have to fight for your place, but tell us, when did the recruiting process start for you?
So I initially came here on a campus tour, and there was a change in coaching staff. So my recruitment process started in August. I had left my number um, on the coach's door, like on a sticky note.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
him to call me, and then that's how the recruitment process started last year.
Okay. Okay. What about when did you first start your initial process? Like when you first started reaching out to schools, was that your sophomore year, your junior year? When did you start the initial
Yes,
process?
I started reaching out my sophomore year. That's when I decided to make a list of schools and then start talking to a variety of them, getting information on their program, looking at the schools academically, and reaching out to the coaches. That was my sophomore year, and then it really ramped up my junior and senior year.
So how big would you say that initial list was? How many schools were on there?
I had about 40 schools on that initial list,
Okay.
around had a variety of majors, and I slowly
Hmm.
trimmed it down to about 15. That's when I started.
Is that when you start looking at what major you really wanted to focus on? Kind of have an idea there.
I was really unsure of what I wanted to do, so I made sure that they had a good business program, a good engineering program, and a good pre medical program. Those were
Sure.
my three main
Yep.
ideas that I had. So that was my biggest checklist, and then from there it started to get smaller and smaller and smaller until I ended up with the one I chose.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to go about it just because when you're not sure, give yourself a broad list so you know when you get there, you have a choice to feel it out and see what really kind of catches your attention and interests you. So that's great. How did the recruiting process start? Did you start sending emails? Were you making phone calls? What ways were you going about things?
I was in it at first. It was emails, and then it went turned to phone calls, and from phone calls and turned into in-person visits, or the coaches would come out to the games.
Yeah,
Emailing extremely important. If they're people too, so they can get very busy. So it's always good if you send that initial email and then say you don't hear back within a couple of weeks or a week or two. Um, give them a call the office, leave a message, and that's the best way to really get in contact with them.
sure, sure. And how often were you contacting coaches? Were you weekly, daily, monthly?
Um, Whenever I had events coming up, like if I had a tournament coming up that I wanted to go, have the coaches look at me there, or any games coming up, tournaments, anything like that. So it was every few weeks typically.
Yeah. Hmm.
Out sending tournament schedules out, or reaching back out trying to figure out more information about the program in the school. So it was on a weekly to monthly basis.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the idea is sending emails right before a tournament. We try to tell players, make sure that you're sending it early enough. Don't send the last day. Coaches have really set their schedules up for what players they're going to look at. So the earlier you can get a schedule in there to them, letting them know your interest, as well as follow up. Follow up is most important because you want to make sure if they didn't get a chance to see you play that you follow up, and now the next time they're going to make it sure that you're a priority. So we try to make sure our players understand that, and it's good feedback. I appreciate that. And then what were the factors that led you to decide on UMass Dartmouth?
So a big factor was the financial side of it and the academic side of it. You're a student athlete, not an athlete student, so it's important to look at the degree, like the school, how quality the programs are, and if the money that you'll spend is worth the investment. So that was a major factor, was the academic side of it.
That's pretty impressive. I don't think a lot of people look at. They look at the sometimes the name, and and they get misled by a lot of things. And the value of the education is something that I think is important to look at. I think you could do those searches and check out to see what is the rate of hiring when the hiring process when you graduate. A lot of schools offer those stats and let you know the percentage of people graduates that get hired. I think that's incredibly impressive. Um, and then, what other factors do you think led you to UMass Dartmouth? What are some of the other factors that you looked at the school and said, "I feel like this is a place for me"?
I really enjoyed the people. Everyone was really nice, very welcoming, and there was a great support staff for athletes. Whether it be academic, there's a lot of tutors available, a lot of different programs that you could go to if you are struggling. Um, the training staff was great. The athletic training staff, very nice, and I like the strength and conditioning people. I enjoyed meeting the team, and um, yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes when you go to a place and you're around, and you just kind of know like this place is for me. It was
Yep.
kind of that type.
Yeah, that's great. Because this is your community. When you go there, this is the community you're living in. You want to make sure that's a fit for you. If you feel out of place, you're never going to feel comfortable. So that's a great factor that really allows a lot of our young recruits should look at. Hopefully, those things fall into place for everybody. Tell us a little bit. This is a little bit of a difficult question right now, Jay, because I know you're having a little bit of a tough season start. Obviously the wins really aren't rolling right now, but that's part of obviously being a competitive athlete. It's not always going to be the glory. Sometimes you have to go through the hard parts too. So tell us a little bit about the season.
So our season hasn't started off too great. We're 0-5-3 at the moment. We've had
Okay.
a really cool start to the season. Schedule-wise, we're playing a lot of teams that are top of conference level. Every team we've played has been a legit contender in their conference, and we're a really young team, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. So it's
Yeah.
been a big learning curve, but every game we're getting more competitive. We're getting closer and closer, and we've definitely had moments where we've been good.
Yeah.
But it comes down to like everyone has to be competitive, everyone has to be bought in, and it has to be like a strong mindset and a will to win, which we're working on, but
Yeah.
it's turning
Yeah.
around.
I think when you have a young team like that, sometimes coaches want to test you and push you and see what you're capable of doing. Hopefully, preparing you for the rest of the season, but also for the future. And some great things will happen as the year goes on and the future goes on. So, describe your preseason for us. Tell us a little bit, like, what was it like, and what did you do to prepare for it?
So the preseason process was, I really enjoyed preseason. You come in 2 weeks early, and you're usually doing double sessions, a lot of running, a lot of fitness
Hmm.
tests. It's very intensive. You want to make sure you're going to the trainers and really taking care of your body, because if you don't, you'll get injured and you'll have to sit out, and it's just not a good situation to be in. And it's very important to prepare for it too. So I followed a summer workout plan that the coaches issued, as well as doing my own activities. You got to make sure that you're running like 2 to 3 times a week. I'd say several miles, lifting weights and getting touches on the ball.
Yeah.
I played for Scott in U23. I also practiced with a couple other teams around the area just to make sure I was getting touches in. Going to the gym, eating healthy, especially when it gets closer to preseason. You want to make sure that your body is fully ready to go. So you got to
Yeah.
put good fuel in it.
Yeah. How come I'm not surprised that you would enjoy preseason? I just knowing you, your mentality, your approach to everything. Obviously, I knew that's something. I knew that's something that you would definitely look forward to. I think fitness wise, never a doubt. So tell us a little bit, how is the competition and training, as well as what's the level of play like every day, but also come game day.
So in training, it's always really competitive. We have to make sure that we have a very hardworking, driven mentality, especially given the way that the season started off. So we have to make sure that training session we're going out there and we're improving. And the only way to do that is to go out and give 100% effort. And that's the same thing goes on game days. You practice how you play. So if you practice really hard and you train really hard, when game day comes around, you're going to be ready. You're going to be fit, and you're going to have to go equally hard because the other team is they're doing the same thing that you're doing. So
Yeah.
you have to make sure that you're putting your 100% maximum effort in.
Yep. No doubt. I mean, because you start in the middle of the field. Um, Obviously, I'm sure you did well there, and maybe it was a matter of they need you to play outside back for necessity. And but every day you have a chance that you can obviously get pushed out of the lineup. Then you got to fight your way back in, which sometimes can be difficult. So sometimes I don't think people understand that you're coming into an environment where you're getting Jake Hollands, you're getting players like yourself with the same mentality, same approach, and now you've got to get in there every day and prove it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different. It's not like high school where you can just have a couple talented kids and dominate a division, or you have a
Yeah,
couple physical kids and you can dominate, or it's not even like club where you're going to learn, you're going to develop, you're going to play. It's cutthroat in a way, so
yeah,
you have to make sure that you're physically ready and that you're technically aware, um, because there's 30 guys that all were the top guys in high school or in
yeah,
club. So it's really where the it's for the top 2% of guys end up going to play. So you have to make sure that you're ready to compete with them, and you have to back yourself and have confidence.
Yeah, we talk to players all the time. Fortunate situation for you. You've been playing majority of minutes, and then I have players at the college level right now. They're struggling. They're struggling to get minutes. They're getting 10, 15 minutes. And I just tell them it's not a matter of what you're getting. It's what you do with those. It's the quality that you're doing in those 10, 15 minutes. Try to improve and make it 20 minutes. Try to get little increments of improvement or increases as you get through the season. That's the goal. Where'd you start? It's not where you start. It's where you finish. So that's always a big thing. And I think for you too is making sure you finish as a starter, finish as a 90-minute player or 80-minute player, whatever the case may be. So tell us a little bit about the day in the life of a college soccer player, and then what would the week encompass as well.
So day in the life, usually we have training at night. So usually I try to push all my classes to the morning so I can get it out of the way with. So wake up, go eat breakfast at the dining hall, and then you go to class, make sure you do your work. In between classes, I'll usually go to the library, get some more work done with some teammates. It's always good to have people around you that are similar majors so you guys can work together and bounce ideas off each other.
Sure.
Go to class again, make sure you do some work, and then usually when practice rolls around, try to get to practice a little early. Make sure you can stretch, go see the trainer if you're injured, do everything that you can to make sure your body's ready for training. After training happens, then, go out, basically get some dinner with some of the guys or get dinner by yourself, whatever you need to do, and then get back and take care of yourself for the next day.
What about academic work? And that's the next part we're going to move into. How do you find the balance between your athletics and your academics when you do that schoolwork after classes?
So schoolwork, I usually do it right after class. I try to. I don't like to. I've never been one to try to cram in everything like at
Mm-hmm.
11, 12 night. It's not a good habit to get into. You
Right.
start losing sleep, wake up tired, and it just kind of piles on. So the
Sure.
the better you can get it done, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's refined.
Yeah.
I tend to write out what I have to do for that week. So I'll have like an agenda or a list like on my phone of all the assignments that I'm assigned, because in college, it's not like high school where you're seeing those teachers every day. You have to, it's all on you. So if you
Yeah.
have it organized, it makes it exponentially easier to really get your work done and focus on it.
Mhm. Sorry, I skipped over a part that we were just discussing. Tell us about the week, like what starting on Monday. Tell us about a common week and like what days do you play normally? What days of the week?
So we usually play on like a Tuesday or
Hmm.
Wednesday, and so we have one midweek game and then one Saturday game every
Okay.
week.
So if your week started on Monday, what's a normal day Monday going all the way through?
Normal day on Monday would be either in like a lighter training session if there's a game the following day. I
Hmm.
always Monday as my day to get as much work done as I possibly can. Nobody likes Mondays, so you might as well just get done and then
Yeah,
just try to like.
you're you're
So
learning that already.
Monday's the worst, but
Yeah,
if you can get work done, it makes your Tuesday better. So
sure.
um, I usually take the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, similar things,
Hmm.
either a high intensity training session. If there's not a game the next day, if there is a game the
Hmm.
next day, it's a light session.
Yeah.
Uh, Classes, pretty much have the same class schedule, like a 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. class on throughout the week. Everyone
Hmm.
sets this differently, but so that's what I like. So I keep the same kind of routine
Yeah.
for those days. Um,
So your class schedule
and then
goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday. So you'll have the same classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, the same classes a little bit longer because it's only 2 days, right?
yes, so Monday
Okay.
classes are minutes, except I have one Monday class that's one day a week. That's a 2.5
Hmm.
hour lecture. That's a
Yeah.
little brutal through, but it's worth
Right.
it. And then you have Wednesday and Fridays with only two classes, which is huge for getting extra work done. So
Sure.
that's um, and then Tuesday and Thursday classes, they run about an hour and 15 minutes
Yeah.
each. So you it kind of about all balances out to the same amount of class
Gotcha.
time.
Good. Good. Now, so what about academic support? What kind of academic support do you have? Do you have an academic advisor that's assigned to you?
Yeah, so I do have an academic advisor. I've met with her a few times, especially when discussing which classes I should be taking. or how my credits from high school would transfer over into the school. That was a big help. That was a major like a boost there for me.
Yeah, you
It's
had
definitely
quite a few you had quite a few credits transfer in, right?
yeah. I had 33 credits transfer
Ooh.
in, so I had to, and actually two advisors to figure out where each of these credits can be used to really maximize. Like, you know, I got them all to be used, so it's a nice feeling that I could kind of coast through, and if I say something happens a semester, I could take one less class. So it's always good to
Yeah.
do work early because you benefit later on.
So
Um,
you're technically a sophomore academically.
yes, academically standing, I'm a sophomore.
Okay, good for you. Good. Um, and then tell us a little bit about the relationship with the professor, especially being a student athlete, because I'm sure you, with travel, with training, you have to have a good relationship there. What is the understanding with the professors playing soccer at the college level?
So each school is different. I know for my friends that go to larger schools, it's a little difficult for them because they have giant lecture halls. My class sizes usually aren't too big, so you kind of have a more personal relationship with the professor. As
Yeah.
long as you professor know early and you give him like a travel, we have a travel release form that we have to
Mhm.
give him. It basically says like, "Hey, I have a game this day. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to have to miss the class," and they'll sign off on it. They've been very understanding with me so far, and I find that the professors have been really understanding, and they'll send out work to me that I'll be missing, or they'll basically give me the rundown and the agenda for the lecture that we're going through, so I can really get that done and move on, do it on the bus.
Sure, absolutely. No, that's great. Well, you kind of covered my last questions, academics while traveling, but Jake, this is great. It's been fantastic catching up with you, and really happy that you were able to share your experience at UMass Dartmouth. And we wish you the best of luck. Obviously, we know things are going to get better this season, but also we know with people like you, it's no brainer that things will absolutely get better. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And have a great season, have a great academic year, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jake, thanks so much again, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care.